They thought they could get away with it, until Karoline Leavitt fought back. Now, the entire media industry was rattled. The newsroom buzzed with energy, a controlled chaos of ringing phones, flashing headlines, and producers barking last-minute orders into headsets. The broadcast was about to begin, and in just moments, millions of viewers would be watching. The heart of it all sat the panelists, veteran media personalities who had made names for themselves with sharp opinions, quick jabs, and the power to shape public perception. The topic of the day? Karoline Leavitt. But she wasn't just any political figure. They had turned her into a symbol, a target, an easy punchline. And tonight they weren't holding back. The lead anchor adjusted their earpiece, smoothed out their blazer, and leaned in with a smirk. Camera zoomed in, the lights dimmed slightly, and then the broadcast began. All right, let's talk about Karoline Leavitt, the latest political starlet. Handpicked for her, let's say, visual appeal, the anchor said, a chuckle slipping out. The studio echoed with laughter. Another panelist chimed in. You mean qualifications? Or are we not pretending anymore? More laughter followed. They continued to pick apart her background, not her policies, not her work, but her looks, her age, and her supposed lack of experience. One even suggested the only reason she landed her position was that some voters liked a pretty face on TV. This wasn't a debate. This wasn't analysis. It was a hit job. But in a dimly lit office in another city, Karoline Leavitt was watching it all unfold in real time. She wasn't alone. Across the country, millions tuned in. Some laughed, some rolled their eyes, but others felt something shift. This wasn't criticism. This wasn't fair debate. This was something else. Within minutes, people hit record. Clips spread like wildfire across Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. In hours, it was shared, reshared, dissected, debated, and analyzed by political commentators and media watchdogs. Some defended the show, calling it fair game in politics. Others were furious. One post went viral overnight saying, "This isn't journalism. This is a public takedown of a young woman who earned her place at the table. This was defamation, plain and simple." One post read, "Asterisk, so it's okay to mock a woman's qualifications as long as she's conservative? Got it." Asterisk, and just like that, the pressure mounted. Calls flooded into the network's offices, from viewers, media watchdogs, even advertisers. People wanted answers. Behind the scenes, the network was beginning to sweat. But one person wasn't just talking about it. She was taking action. Karoline Leavitt picked up her phone, and the next call she made was to her lawyer. Something big was coming, but no one at the network saw it yet. The next morning, Karoline woke up to chaos. Her phone had been buzzing non-stop since the segment aired. Messages poured in, some supportive, some outraged, and others warning her to just let it go. But letting it go was never an option. She sat at her kitchen table, scrolling through social media. Everywhere she looked, her name was trending. News outlets debated whether the remarks were simply harsh commentary or something legally reckless. And then something shifted. Clip from a legal analyst went viral overnight. A former defamation attorney, speaking on live television, weighed in. His voice was calm, but his words sharp. Asterisk, this isn't just an opinion piece gone wrong. This is legally dangerous territory. Karoline Leavitt chooses to sue. She has a strong case. A very strong case. Asterisk, that was all she needed to hear. By noon, Karoline was in a private conference room with her lawyers. Tension was thick in the air. The legal team had already reviewed the footage frame by frame, dissecting every word, every tone, every smirk. Their conclusion: this was actionable. The remarks weren't harmless criticism. They were presented as facts without evidence, and in the eyes of the law, that mattered. Her lead attorney, a seasoned litigator known for taking down media giants, folded his hands and leaned forward. Asterisk, they went too far. And they knew it. Asterisk, a silence stretched across the table. Then Karoline spoke. Asterisk, file it. Asterisk, just like that, the lawsuit was in motion. By mid-afternoon, the legal documents were finalized and filed in court. It wasn't just a defamation case. It was a direct challenge to an entire industry that had long operated without consequences. The network executives didn't have time to prepare. By 5 p.m. the news was out. Asterisk, Karoline Leavitt files lawsuit against major TV network for defamation. Asterisk, the headlines exploded. News anchors stumbled over their words as they read the legal details live on air. Political analysts scrambled to respond. The network had been caught off guard, and panic began to set in. But the real storm was coming from the people. Social media erupted. Good. They get away with this too often. She's going to lose. No one wins against the media. If she wins, this changes everything. And then the leaks began. Late that night, screenshots of internal emails began circulating online. First, they seemed harmless, routine production notes, show outlines. But then, buried between meeting recaps and script drafts, something explosive emerged. An email dated the night before the broadcast exposed the truth. Make her look inexperienced. Tie it to Trump's hiring decisions. Audience eats that up. Another from a senior producer. She's young, unqualified, and an easy target. No need to hold back. The emails weren't just careless remarks, they were proof of intent. This wasn't off-the-cuff banter, it was a deliberate, premeditated, coordinated smear campaign. The moment those emails leaked, the entire lawsuit took a devastating new turn. Now, it wasn't just a defamation case, it was a full-blown scandal. The leaks spread like wildfire, and by morning, every major news outlet was running the story. Inside the network's headquarters, panic had taken hold. The executives, who had spent years building a reputation for controlling narratives and managing crises, were now scrambling to cover up a scandal of their own making. The legal team was already in full damage control mode, reviewing every document, every segment, every internal memo. They needed to know exactly how much trouble they were in before Karoline Leavitt's lawyers began digging deeper. And what they found made them sweat. The emails weren't isolated incidents. They were part of a pattern. This wasn't just a one-time mistake. The network had a system. Playbook. Step 1 pick a target. Step 2 shape the narrative before the public can form its own opinion. Step 3 control the talking points. Step 4 if necessary, push boundaries until the damage is done. And now they were caught. A senior producer stormed into the CEO's office, face pale, voice shaking. It's bad. Really bad. We have to get ahead of this. The CEO, usually calm and calculated, was silent. Deep down, he knew there was no spinning this. The network had two options. 1, double down, deny everything, and fight this in court. 2, cut their losses, issue an apology, and try to settle before more dirt surfaced. But before they could make a decision, another bombshell dropped. A former network employee came forward and sat down for an exclusive interview. Her face was partially shadowed, her voice steady but filled with something else, determination. I worked there for years. I saw how the machine operates. They don't just report news, they manufacture it. This was never about facts, it was about taking people down. And I can't stay silent anymore. The interview shattered everything. Viewers, who had once trusted the network without question, now weren't so sure. Sponsors began pulling ads. Ratings took a nosedive. The network's credibility was crumbling. For the first time, the people at the top, who once laughed at the idea of being held accountable, were now whispering about how much this could cost them. 'Cause the reality was sinking in. This lawsuit wasn't just about Karoline Leavitt anymore. It was about every person the network had ever smeared. It was about every narrative they had twisted. It was about the entire system they had built, and whether it was finally about to collapse. But one thing was certain, this wasn't over yet. The next morning, the network's name was everywhere, but for all the wrong reasons. Headlines dominated news sites. Leavitt lawsuit explodes. Network's emails leak. Was it all a setup? Former employee exposes media smear tactics. Advertisers back away. Is this the beginning of the end? Asterisk on social media, it was an all-out battlefield. People weren't just watching this unfold, they were participating. Twitter threads dissected every leaked email. Influencers, political analysts, and everyday users pored over the evidence, calling out hypocrisy, connecting dots, and demanding accountability. A particularly damning clip made its way around the internet. A media watchdog compared the network's past coverage of other political figures, showing how they used the same tactics, taking minor details and spinning them into career-ending controversies. Asterisk, they've done this before, and they'll keep doing it unless someone stops them. Asterisk, the backlash was relentless. Some former network supporters felt betrayed, realizing they'd been fed narratives carefully curated behind the scenes. And the worst part? The network's response only made things worse. By midday, a carefully worded statement was released. Asterisk, we stand by our commitment to journalistic integrity and robust political discourse. We regret any misunderstanding and will continue to engage in conversations that challenge and inform the public. Asterisk, that was it. No apology. No acknowledgement. Just corporate fluff. And people saw right through it. Asterisk, this isn't an apology, it's damage control. So you got caught and now it's just a misunderstanding? Try again. They aren't sorry. They're just sorry they got exposed. Asterisk sponsors began reacting too. The first ad pull came quietly. A well-known brand issued a vague statement about reevaluating partnerships. Then more followed. A major tech company suspended ads indefinitely. A national retail chain cut ties completely. A top-tier sponsor publicly distanced themselves, calling for higher standards in media ethics. This wasn't just a bad PR moment. This was a crisis. And inside the network's executive boardroom, the mood was grim. People who had once mocked Karoline Leavitt on live TV were now watching their careers, reputations, and influence crumble in real time. Then came the final crushing blow. One of their own turned against them. Current network employee, someone still on payroll, broke ranks in an exclusive interview. He dropped a single statement that set the media world on fire. Asterisk, if the public saw what really happens behind the scenes, this wouldn't just be a lawsuit. It would be a reckoning. Asterisk, and just like that, the floodgates opened. Now the network wasn't just facing a lawsuit, they were facing a full-blown collapse. Inside the network's headquarters, panic had turned to desperation. The newsroom, once filled with confidence, power, and control, was now a war zone. Top executives sat in a closed-door meeting, voices low, urgent, tense. Asterisk, this isn't just a PR crisis anymore. This is survival. Asterisk, someone slammed a stack of papers onto the table. Asterisk, sponsors are pulling out faster than we can replace them. Viewership is tanking. Our name is poison right now. Asterisk, the CEO rubbed his temples, exhaustion clear on his face. Asterisk, we need a way out. Now. Asterisk, the legal team, seated at the far end of the room, was already 3 steps ahead. They knew the only way to stop the bleeding was to kill the lawsuit before it saw the inside of a courtroom. So they drafted an offer, a massive multi-million-dollar settlement. Enough to make anyone think twice. But it came with one condition. Karoline Leavitt had to sign a gag order. If she took the money, she could never speak about this case again. No interviews. No statements. No legal precedent. It would all go away quietly. The network's lawyers believed this was their best move. Because if the lawsuit went to trial, everything would be exposed. Every email, every private conversation, every producer's meeting where they plotted which public figures to tear down. They couldn't afford that. They needed Karoline Leavitt to take the deal. That evening, her legal team received the offer. The number was jaw-dropping. One of her lawyers hesitated, looking at Karoline. Asterisk, most people would take this. Asterisk, but she didn't even glance at the papers. Her mind was already made up. The next day, Karoline called a press conference. Cameras flashed as she stepped up to the podium. The room fell silent. She took a deep breath, then spoke with clarity, strength, and purpose. Asterisk, I didn't file this lawsuit for money. I filed it because words have consequences. Asterisk, the tension in the room grew. Reporters leaned forward. Asterisk, this network thought they could destroy my reputation and walk away without consequences. They thought they could silence me with a settlement. And I want the world to know. Asterisk, she paused, locking eyes with the cameras. Asterisk, I will not be taking their money. I will see them in court. Asterisk, the room erupted. Shouts from reporters. News anchors scrambling to go live with the update. Social media exploded. Asterisk, she rejected millions just to make sure the truth comes out. Asterisk, asterisk, respect. She wins, this changes everything. Asterisk, asterisk, this isn't just about her anymore. It's about all of us. Asterisk, and at the network's headquarters? Silence. Because now they knew, asterisk, they were going to court star. For the first time in history, they were the ones on the defensive. Trial date was set. For the first time, a major media network was being dragged into court, not as the investigator, not as the storyteller, but as the accused. And the world was watching. Every major news outlet covered it relentlessly. Legal analysts debated whether Karoline Leavitt had a real shot at winning or if she had just made the biggest mistake of her life by rejecting the settlement. The stakes? Unprecedented. If she lost, the network would walk away untouched, emboldened to continue their smear tactics. But if she won, it wouldn't just be a financial loss for the network. It would be a shift in power. A warning shot to the entire media industry. Inside the courtroom, the tension was thick. Karoline sat with her legal team, composed, unwavering, across from the network's lawyers, seasoned, expensive, ruthless. And then the testimony began. First, the former employee took the stand. Her hands folded in her lap, eyes fixed straight ahead. Asterisk, I worked there for nearly a decade. I was part of the machine. We knew what we were doing. We picked targets. We shaped narratives. And we never thought anyone would fight back. Asterisk, gasps rippled through the courtroom. The network's lawyers squirmed. Then came the emails, projected onto the massive screen for the jury to see. Evidence of intent. Asterisk, make her look weak. Tie her to the most divisive talking points. She's young and doesn't know how to fight back. Asterisk, but she did. She fought back harder than they ever expected. The network's lawyers tried to argue this was just commentary. But Karoline's team tore through that defense, playing the footage frame by frame. Every sneer, every laugh, every word spoken with the intent to ruin her credibility, not debate her politics. The jury watched. The world watched. And then the verdict came in. The judge's voice was steady. Asterisk, the court finds the defendant guilty of defamation with reckless disregard for the truth. Asterisk, stunned silence. Then the ruling. The network was ordered to pay millions in damages. More importantly, they were forced to publicly retract their statements and issue a formal apology. Outside the courthouse, Karoline faced the cameras once more. Asterisk, this was never about money. It was about standing up to the machine. It was about proving that the media doesn't get to destroy lives for sport. Asterisk, asterisk, today we sent a message. Truth matters. And the people who think they can manipulate it without consequence? They're wrong. Asterisk, the public exploded with reactions. Asterisk, a landmark case. Asterisk, asterisk, nothing will be the same after this. Asterisk, asterisk, finally, someone held them accountable. Asterisk, the media isn't untouchable anymore. And in newsrooms across the country, journalists, producers, and executives watched with nervous anticipation. Because if it happened to this network today, who would be next? The moral of the story: power unchecked is dangerous. For too long, the media has shaped narratives without consequence, deciding whose careers thrive and whose crash and burn. But today that changed. 'Cause when you attack someone's reputation for sport, when you destroy lives for ratings, when you think you can say anything without accountability, sometimes the person you least expect fights back. And when they do, you might just find yourself begging for mercy. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. This was just the beginning. The war for truth is far from over.